to confirm, you're able to see the screen I'm presenting
Yes, I
that
can.
I shared? So you've got that. So yeah, look, in the short amount of focus on what we've got now, where we're heading, and just open up for questions, because if you do have specific functionality questions, those would probably best be answered by consultants, or a deep dive into the system at a later point. Perhaps it's on that technology day that we've got scheduled. So, I just really wanted to give you a good solid overview of where we are now, what we're doing, and the depth of functionality that will be available in the next 12 months, if that makes sense.
Yes, understand, Gary. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay. All right, no problem. So just with that in mind, obviously, just based on that slide, I look after strategic accounts and third-party partnerships. Medorus moving forward will definitely be one of my sort of pinnacle accounts that I personally will look after.
Sorry, Gary,
Okay.
can I just interrupt for a moment? I can see that we've actually got Pete at the Gold Coast who's joined us. I'm not sure if you guys have been introduced just yet. Pete's Accounting Director, Queensland. Also he shares responsibility with James, as we spoke about before, across multiple offices in Queensland.
Okay, welcome on board the meeting, Pete. Thanks for your time. Okay, now I'm just not quite certain. Obviously there are a number of affiliated firms in the group that are currently using Handysoft. Are there any that don't?
We don't in Sydney.
Okay. All right, Michelle. So perhaps a bit of an overview of what of who we are and what we're about to do would be helpful. Just one very quick question.
We have used it years ago, though.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah.
What practice suite are you using at the moment?
APS.
Okay. All right. So just to give you a bit of a heads up over there, Sage is part of a global group, or this accountants division that I represent. We operate in some 23 countries with over 13,500 team members to service, those accountants and small business all the way through to enterprise users of accounting software. I mean, there's hundreds of well-known brands over here, but Sage specializes in Australia in mid-market accounting software. So typically, those businesses that you service that are, have outgrown Xero, MYOB, and that type of software. The other aspect that is very much at forefront of Sage is payroll and people management as well. Just to give you, and I'm really giving you this overview in the context that we have enormous financial muscle behind us that's investing heavily in the future. And, that's significantly different from some of our competitors over here. We've got, depth of knowledge across the world and funding to help us, make sure that we meet the requirements in the 2020s and beyond. We've got a relationship with over 30% of accountants across, the United States, Canada, France, Australia, and Spain. So, it's significantly bigger than the players that you're typically dealing with if you aren't dealing with Sage at the moment. From a local perspective over here, we've been doing this since 1988, and we specifically do not have the sort of strategy of trying to use accounting firms to upsell accounting software to, small and medium-sized businesses. We focus on practice software. In case you weren't aware, more returns are lodged and prepared in Handysoft than any other provider by millions of returns across all form types. All right, we're by far the strongest player in that segment of the market. Compliance has always been our key strength. There are now more than 7,500 firms using Handysoft across Australia. The question, of course, on everybody's minds at the moment relates to cloud. Now, obviously new technologies empower firms to leverage, their client relationships, leverage knowledge about the clients to grow businesses. And we are absolutely focused on developing that next generation in a pure cloud environment. So, the point is we're investing substantially to make sure that we're producing the world's, not only Australia's, leading practice software solution. And I'll give you a little bit more on that in a moment. The other point that's really important from, an existing user's perspective is that, we're not abandoning the development and support of the current suite of applications. All right, if you just think about it practically, we've got thousands of users. If we roll out, the cloud option straight away, we couldn't possibly migrate, train, implement, and ensure you're up and running. If we've got to do thousands simultaneously, it's not possible. So we fully appreciate that firms will want to transition and switch off components as and when we make those available. So, just practically what I'm thinking, handy tax, you don't typically need to do a tax return in the cloud, so that one perhaps has, a longer period before you need to take that out, as long as it integrates with the practice management, document management side of things. So, the point is that you'll be able to operate HandySoft in like a hybrid environment with some on-premises versions, some cloud versions, until you're ready to implement the full suite. And that last point, just to emphasize, right now, Sage HandySoft, the functionality that those of you who are using are familiar with, can be run on-prem, obviously on servers, on hosted servers, or via HandySoft Online. So we've got a hosted version of HandySoft available as well. Emily asked me really to focus as well on what we've got right now. So that's displayed on screen. So, we've really gone to market up to now with a concept of like one-stop shop, where we've got the full depth of functionality all built around a single client database, which means that you've got much tighter integration, and updates, are much simpler, obviously, if you've got everything underpinned by the one central client database. It also provides, unparalleled reliability. So on the practice management side, we've got contact management software with job flow integrated, document management. We've got an electronic secure portal, which I'm pretty sure, the firms are using HandySoft, timesheet recording, invoicing. We've got a collection of templates and workflows, checklists called best practice that can be integrated as well tightly into the system. We've got trust bank account management if you're deducting fees from refunds. Obviously important is security, to deny access to specific features or modules, and track who's doing what within the system. So that's the handy security side. And we've got payroll, specifically, single touch payroll functionality for yourselves and your clients. On the right-hand side, the compliance suite that's fully integrated, the tax, client accounting, inbuilt work papers that is integrated into Handy Ledger, bank feeds. So if you do want to, stream account information directly into Handy Ledger for your small business clients, that can be done if you're not doing their books. Self-managed super fund management, ASIC compliance via Handy Register. And of course, you've got the Sage accounting and payroll application. At the bottom, I've got connected services. Now, the intention of these applications is to further extend the cloud, or into the cloud, and extend that functionality via the cloud. So, we've got a little app, for example, called HandySoft Notify, which enables you to send text messages straight to your clients. All right, so, you can imagine an appointment confirmation, or please don't forget there's still an amount outstanding for debtors management. There's also on screen, just to the right of the image, you've got Sage HandySoft in a phone. That's called HandySoft Connect. That's a free of charge app that gives you instant capability to do timesheets, see, appointments in your system, send documents to your clients, edit a client data, client details in that system as well. And you can send financials and tax return copies. So, we've got a whole suite of applications. And at the bottom, we've got a newly introduced solution called Sage Data Hub, which connects to all of this information and allows you then to, pretty much in a codeless environment, create and automate the creation of reports and to send, reports automatically internally or to your clients. And I'll take you through Data Hub in a little bit more detail shortly. So just very quickly on Sage HandySoft Online, it's effectively the same functionality, but the point of that is to give you the ability to really ditch your server, to give you the opportunity to have your infrastructure being the server maintained by a dedicated team of professionals. You can get access to HandySoft via any device capable of using a browser. So you log into HandySoft, but effectively on Amazon Web Services platform, you're using a browser to do everything you do at the moment. All right, so that eliminates the pressure around, security. The software is always up to date as well. So, there's just a screenshot of how it would appear. So, slightly different to start with, but as soon as you click one of those icons, you're running the typical HandySoft functionality that you're familiar with. So there's no amount of extra training. There's no data migration or whatever. You've instantly got access online and you no longer have to pay, for the maintenance of your server and security, etc. All right, now let's go beyond this now. All right, so Sage Accountant Cloud is the next generation. We start off, as I suggested earlier, with the assumption that firms aren't going to be running everything in our pure cloud environment. So we start off by connecting to Sage HandySoft and HandySoft Online if you prefer. It doesn't matter which version you're running, everything that you're about to see will be capable of working, whether you're on HandySoft Online or on the current on-prem version. So we've got this interface layer, application programming interface they call it, which enables us then to connect to Sage Accountant Cloud. All right, now this is where it gets interesting. Okay, mainly owing to the depth of knowledge and investment capability and associations around the world, we've been able to partner with the world's largest customer success platform or CRM system, client relationship management system in the cloud called Salesforce. All right, many of you may be familiar with it, but if you aren't, Salesforce is the leading cloud provider, bar none. It is essentially a platform in that you're able to connect thousands of applications natively to this environment. So it's not like an ecosystem like our competitors would have, in that they simply allow connections between partner applications. Salesforce has an app exchange on which there's some 5,000-6,000 applications that you can subscribe for and immediately connect without having anybody trying to maintain and connect to that manually. It's very much like adding an app on your mobile phone, where you hop off to the Google Play Store or App Store and you pay for your subscription, download it, and it just works. So if you want to add a document management system or an email survey system or an email an automated marketing system that can automatically send an email if a prior email had been opened, stuff like that is available to you instantly via the app exchange. So that will also integrate then, just take for example that email marketing automation. If somebody opens an email that you send them, a prospective client perhaps, that would automatically get recorded in your events. All your interactions with clients are automatically recorded within their client's success platform or customer success platform. So also part of the system is artificial intelligence. So it's going to really take you into the next generation where you'll be able to ask questions and get the system to answer for you. There's sales automation as well, so you can track prospective clients' interactions and automatically send them notifications of, or send them newsletters, notifications of seminars, and follow-up prompts to continue that relationship. Marketing automation is there. You've got an application or an add-on called Communities, which we'll be using for our document management area to effectively give you secure access to a web page from your own website, which you can then use for payment gateway to pay the invoices, share documents securely, sign them, get them electronically signed off, and also integrate newsletters and information you want to share with your clients. So there's inbuilt analytics, dashboards. All of this is in the platform to start off with. And the power of this means that we don't have to redevelop a client database. We just automatically leverage off that core functionality in Salesforce from day one, and we continue to add functionality to it. So just extending out, I'll show you how all of this translates in practice. So from the get-go, we automatically connect all the Handysoft clients that you have to Sage Accountant Cloud, to the Salesforce hub effectively, our bespoke version of Salesforce, so that if you make a change to the client's details in Handysoft or in Sage Accountant Cloud, they automatically synchronize. Okay, the point of this thing is that you're then going to be able to link any other applications so that you've effectively got a single client database. All right, now we specifically appreciate that you might not want to use only Sage products on this platform, and that's where it is so powerful. Having said that, we will be releasing Sage Handy Tax Cloud in the next few months, and a Handy Ledger style equivalent called Sage Final Accounts Online. The idea behind Final Accounts Online is to really be product agnostic, in that we don't believe all of your SME clients are going to be running the same accounting system. They're not all going to be on Xero, all on MYOB, all on Intuit or whatever. The idea is to be able to link seamlessly to your client's data and then produce those statutory reports and drop those balances into tax for lodgement purposes. So Final Accounts Online will not be like a full-on accounting system. It'll be a reporting engine that streams information into Handy Tax Cloud. On the other side of the equation, just to build out that concept that I mentioned earlier, we are looking at a best-of-breed strategy going down into our future. We don't expect our clients to be running everything from Sage. You might want to select, from other third-party applications like BGL typically. I'm sure, well, I'm not sure, but there's quite a strong possibility you're running Simple Fund or Class Super or, CAS 360. Those applications will then give you the ability to make a change in either source client database and keep the Sage Accountant Cloud and Handysoft in sync. So the real vision over here goes way beyond simple functionality as you've traditionally thought of your practice software. This platform will allow you to bring in client data or connect to client data from any system, whether it's a financial management system, an investment system, property management system, whatever area of business you're going to be servicing. This will connect to and effectively give you one single client database, and ultimately you'll be able to run those applications by launching them from this interface, all right, with a single sign-on. So you'll sign on to Sage Accountant Cloud and automatically then be able to open up BGL, for example, from there. All right. As I mentioned earlier, we've got this data hub which is critical to the conversation around, you know, homologating or combining information from all these disparate systems that you might have, and then to be able to run a report. So for example, if you were, you know, using MYOB account right, for example, for your own internal firm's accounts, and you're running, you know, Handysoft for practice management, you'd be able to create a report that would show you, you know, a better cash flow picture, because you've got your WIP, debtors, and your bank details in a single report, that which can be, you know, achieved via Data Hub. So effectively, it's a data warehouse that allows you to connect seamlessly to any other third-party application, ultimately, or to bring in that data via a text file so that you can produce reports. And then on top of all of that, as I mentioned, you've got communities, your client portal, to, you know, interface with your clients. All right, so just a little bit more on Sage Accountant Cloud, the functionality that is currently being tested. So we have launched an early release program with Sage Accountant Cloud within our user base. And as I suggested, this is going to give you a single view of all your client information. And inbuilt into this thing is the ability to use an application called Flows, so that you are in a codeless environment able to stitch workflow procedures together. So for example, you might want to, you know, following a payment receipt for an invoice, automatically send out an email confirmation to a client. You know, thank you for paying. We note that your next appointment is. You can do stuff like that. You can, you know, create a filter view of clients. You know, let me get a list of all my clients who don't currently have a payroll application, and I could then automate the generation of an email to go out to all of them, picking up their client's details and who their account manager is perhaps, and automatically then record that that email has been sent in the area that records events. So the point of this thing is that you've got a central client list that you can customize to display, you know, the relevant information that you'd like. You've got some 100 user-defined fields that you can very easily then click to create a filter, and you can then, you know, create a new workflow that automatically brings in a template that you've created to email merge and notify somebody of something. As you'd expect, Salesforce, we're using and leveraging their functionality. There is an app already that will give you access to all the key features of the system. And I need to mention amongst those is Chatter. So many of you obviously would be using social media, instant messaging, if you're not using Teams on Microsoft or Messenger. Chatter is effectively like an industrial strength instant messaging system that's connected to your client relationship system. So any instant messages that you send get recorded against the client, would also be visible in their communities in that secure area, and you can share documents via that instant message as well. Now, this platform, the Chatter platform, is not restricted to client. You can send internal messages and get those recorded. You can have groups of clients, groups of prospective clients that you share information with and record all of that. Just a little bit more on Data Hub. So that's available right now, has been for a while. The whole point of that is to centralize data again and give you the ability to instantly generate reports and to use that effectively to communicate you know, issues with your team or with your clients. It's able to connect seamlessly right now to AccountWrite Live. so MYOB data, so that you can produce dashboards of key performance measures, drill down into, to identify a particular problem. At the dashboard level, you can go into the detail, in their bank account, in accounts receivable, wherever you might need to, focus on a cash flow issue, for example. I'm not sure who in the firms that I'm talking to right now is tasked with the requirement to produce those month-end practice management reports. But, having implemented this in hundreds of our customers already, we know that the practice managers are reporting saving some 10 hours per week in being able to compile those practice management reports effectively automatically now. So all of that is done seamlessly. And what's really interesting about the system, it can automatically, at preset intervals, send a productivity report to nominated team members, for example. So you could send out missing timesheet reports. If by creating a rule that states that, if a timesheet hasn't been submitted, automatically send out something. Similarly, you can automate the production of KPI dashboards to go out to your clients in the form of like a business health report that goes out to them automatically monthly. And all of that can be accessed remotely, online as well. So, there's quite a number of dashboards that are standard. You can edit these fairly easily, and you can create your own with some training. So there's just some sample dashboards that I've got on screen I'll show you. So the practice cash flow dashboard gives you a very quick snapshot of what's available to be invoiced, what hasn't been invoiced, and percentages that have been paid and what's due. So you've got these very dashboard-like views which focus attention very quickly on what hasn't been paid, and you could basically drill down into what's invoiced but not paid, double clicking on that, and you can see trends. And that's really the importance of the system, in that it gives you the ability, instead of making off the cuff assumptions and building out strategies for improvement based on gut feel, you've now got clear insights and information to make informed decisions. So you've got staff productivity dashboards. Immediately with the color coding, you can see, when issues are arising. You can see trends over time, and confirm suspicions. Things like top 10 staff with, by units worked, and you can double click and drill down then to see what's going on over here with Aurora, not having paid fees. Obviously, this was done without great data to connect to. There's a job management dashboard. So we've, really gone way beyond what's standard in, the job flow management system to make it really easy to, try and identify potential problems in that, you've got to produce this amount of, fees, and you can see this amount is in open jobs. So, the gaps over there need to be, filled by allocating jobs to other people. Things like that are really way beyond the capability of running static reports. And that's really one of the powerful features of a system like this, in that effectively you're getting a number of different reports in a single snapshot, and you can then go in, for example, and just double click on Office and switch that, to Gold Coast, or switch that to Sydney, and see a view specific to that region or that office, as opposed to having to run a separate report. The other thing that's great with this is the ability to see what's going on from a tax lodgement perspective. Unlike an ATO report, it actually specifies the breakdown between company, individual, or various different entity types, which, as you know, when you go to the ATO, they just give you a raw percentage, so you don't know exactly what's going on. And from here, with the not lodged, you can actually drill down and see which clients we're talking about. So another massive time saver in that report. The other thing that's great is that it connects seamlessly to Handy Ledger as well. So you can nominate which particular entity you want from Handy Ledger and then generate these performance measures, and you can use these in real time then to communicate with your clients. So, you know, imagine the power over there. You've got your client in the boardroom and you can say, you know, we've got these particular ratios that I'm going to be focusing on. I've got concerns around your cash flow. Let's drill down, you know, into accounts receivable and start, you know, building out a strategy to, you know, to improve this. The other thing that's going to be rolled out this week or within a week or two tops is the ability to take account write live data and direct that into Handy Ledger. So you no longer have to manually import and massage that data to get these reports and to obviously complete the work in Handy Ledger as you're doing right now. The plan is then to further develop out these connectors where we anticipate having Xero, and then shortly after that we'll be looking at QuickBooks as well. Excuse me, this is coming from MYOB, so we connect seamlessly to MYOB data and it generates then those similar KPIs to Handy Ledger. I've just picked the accounts receivable dashboard, which obviously would be a great conversation starter with your clients. All right. The other thing, just in case you weren't aware, Sage has been voted the #1 payroll software provider by the Australian Payroll Association. So we've got a depth of knowledge and capability in that area. If you want to effectively do payroll for your clients or even outsource it to us, we can manage it end to end for you. We've got, you know, hundreds of businesses that we actually do outsource payroll for as well. And you've got the opportunity then just to get the Sage payroll application for your clients' use, and any fees that we get from you or your clients effectively offsets your Handysoft license fees. So if you've still got clients that need a payroll solution, it's a really, really easy to use one. We provide free training for them. And they can really take care of that STP compliance issue. All right, so that's my quick overview. I know I've run over already. You know, when it comes time during your Tech Day session, you know, we'll demonstrate Sage Accountant Cloud to you live and the Data Hub. But, you know, I really just want you to, you know, take a focus on the future. Technology is changing rapidly, and we are best placed to take you through that journey at a pace that suits you and ensure that we're going to give you that end-to-end solution via best of breed capability. You bring in whatever third party you want, we'll be able to, you know, generate those reports that you're after. So having said that, I'm open to questions, and you tell me what would make sense from a next step perspective, please.
Pete, we can't hear you. No, still can't hear
You're
you.
on mute. No microphone.
Saying it's off, but
There we go.
Oh, now we've got you. Yep.
You'll be presenting next month to us, Gary, will you?
Absolutely, that's been scheduled.
Yep.
I think it was facilitated by Mark Holton.
Yep.
Yep, I'll personally be there. I think that's in your Melbourne offices, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It'll be. Obviously, the guys would be very interested in the Handysoft Online and the SAC. So.
Yep. Absolutely happy to take you through that. You know, I'm not quite certain that we'd have enough time to go into huge detail, but, you know, any time to drill down further, happy to set up a session like this. But we'll certainly give you a very thorough overview of the software that's being tested right now in that early release team with the, from a Sage Account and Cloud perspective and Data Hub if you want as well.
And in a perfect world, how far away is that from being released, do you think?
Sage Account and Cloud, I would expect by March latest. So we're doing our usual annual roadmap session tour around the country, and it's fully envisaged that we'll be able to sell during that event. So the early release completes, by the end of December. And we'd expect to extend that out a little bit further during January and February before we go to full-blown release.
Okay.
Now, I do need to just be absolutely upfront and honest. I mean, the idea is to build out functionality, as we go along, and that's one of the beauties of the cloud. You can, release a version 1, which will have, a huge range of contact management features, and, we'll have workflow features up to a point, but the job flow and time and billing functionality will come later than January, February.
Yep.
So, it's a staggered release and addition of features, during the next 12 months to build out that whole, slide that I displayed.
Okay.
Anything on your end, Michelle?
No, I think you've covered. I've just been taking some notes. I'll be keen to see it, in person at the demo. So that'll be good. Yeah.
As an aside, could you give me a bit of an overview of what APS has been saying in relation to, cloud native, not just hosted software?
Well, have their platforms in the cloud now, or it's going to be in the cloud. And as you know, the APS has got the whole shebang of everything. So yeah.
Very similar to us, but that's hosted. They've got no native cloud strategy though. There's no cloud offering as such. It's hosted.
Well,
Pete, do you have any? Thanks. Pete, do you have any more questions?
No, not at my end. I'll just wait to see the demonstration in a fortnight.
Michelle, do you have any more?
No, not at this stage.
Anything on your end, Emily?
Oh, thank you, Gary. No, I don't have any questions. Sorry. Thank you. Okay, so thanks so much for everyone joining in on the session today. Thanks so much, Gary, for sharing the technology demonstration with us. We look forward to seeing you in November. Oh, it is November. It is.
That's crazy.
And hope you all have a great day.
Okay,
thank you so much. Appreciate you putting this together.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks for your time. Bye.